Massacre on the beat!
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Winlife podcast, where we focus on personal development, growth, building, wealth, all that good stuff. Anything that helps you succeed, exceed, and excel at life. And of course, along the way, we have to define what winning means, what success means. And we made a whole show about that. So as we kind of work through season 2, I had to bring in some of the heavy hitters for this one and some of my close friends so we could just start to really dive in on these topics and pick at each other's brains, for lack of a better term, in hopes of helping our own selves on our own paths of growth, as all of us are living in these capitalistic times, and we're working to build foundations, we're working to build wealth, we're working to build legacy. So I think this podcast is very well needed. And not only should we hear my voice and let me rant, but we need to talk to other people and get their lens, get their perspective and their view on things. And from there, we can all grow, we can all level up. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome a very special guest to the show, Mattia Broili. Welcome, brother.
Appreciate that, man.
Sorry if I butchered your name. I got that American accent.
All good, man. It's all good.
How you doing today?
Well, feeling a little bit drained from this whole weather thing. Like it's been raining over the past days here. A little bit feeling this Mercury effect on me, but it's going on. You just gotta keep pushing, and I think that's discipline talking. That's needed.
Definitely agreed. So yeah, man, it's tough when you're a self-starter, self-motivator, and someone who works independently on their own projects. You also got to be your own boss, your own cheerleader, your own fuel. So, if you don't make yourself get up and do the work, there's not a boss that's going to remind you or send you an email or, give you a warning. It's all on you. So it's a double-edged sword, right? It's the beauty, because you get in what you put in, you're in control. But at the same time, if you don't work, you don't eat, right?
Yeah.
So I know you've been kind of in that position as you transition into entrepreneurship, and I know you left your job not too long ago. So things are changing for you. So maybe we could talk a bit about that process, the changes you've noticed, and maybe some of the issues that you've run into, or just some of the things you noticed along the way that might help other people. Because a lot of people say they want to quit their job and they don't even know what that means. And they say they want to be their own boss, they want to be an entrepreneur, but do they really know what goes into that?
Well, where do we start? I'd say that first thing first, you gotta consider that things are gonna be harder that you can ever think about, because you have to consider that 1 out of 3 people that starts an entrepreneurial project and a personal goal to become independent and self-employed, 1 out of 3 succeed, meaning that more than half don't get through it. This means that you have to be tough, and you gotta understand that it's gonna be more downs than ups in the beginning, and you gotta have a little money on the side. Well, more than a little, of course, but it's especially coming down to the mindset thing, and especially about taking ownership of your life under all aspects, especially on the bill side, but even understanding different situations, different things, different opportunities that come across you, and especially defining what's working for you and what is hurting you.
Definitely. I actually didn't know that the statistic was that high, that actually a third of people are even succeeding, So yeah, sorry, I had to take a screenshot for the gram. We always got to make content along the way. These interviews are all audio, but we do have a visual component to it where we're in a Zoom call. But at this time, we're not displaying the visuals. Maybe down the line we will, but I am recording this for the archive, so I might have some fun clips for us. But yeah, before we go any further, why don't we go ahead and introduce Mattia officially to the show, and then we can get the ball rolling. All righty, so Mattia Broili is a graphic designer, artist, and producer. He has worked with a number of brands such as Forexia, Bamboozle, and of course, Winlife. If you're looking at the logo here, he designed that. Mattia currently resides in Trieste, Italy. He has found himself working with a variety of companies, assisting them with defining their identities visually as well as conceptually. The Winlife podcast welcomes Mattia to the show. Welcome. Woo!
Appreciate that.
Hey, I appreciate you, man. You came a long way. I remember before you had your first client, we were talking about it.
Yeah,
that's how
it was
far
a long
we're going
time ago.
back. It doesn't even seem like it's maybe 4 years ago, but
Yeah.
it seems like yesterday.
Yeah, I believe that like one of the first clients was exactly Dylan with Forexia. And yeah, actually like it came out of the blue because like I proposed him and I was like, okay, I can do something for you. I see that like you might need someone that curates the graphic side of it. And I said, okay, do you think we can work on something together? And he said, okay, yeah, let's try. And I think that's one of I believe the longest client to date, because we've been working on since like the past 4 years, and it's been an amazing journey so far. And yeah, so good to be
I would
part
say
of
it
that
wasn't
family.
I would say it wasn't my chance, because before you start working with Dylan, we would be in the chat and we would talk about it. And I would be like, yo, you'll be designing for Forexia one day. And you'll be like, yep, I'm going to do it. And we would talk about it. And you would make up like just designs for free for Dylan, just examples, and, run them by me and stuff. So
Yep.
I say that to highlight that these things don't happen by chance, actually, even though you might downplay it, but it's actually like a lot of plotting, a lot of speaking into existence, but also meeting that speech with action and taking a chance on yourself, right? Adding value, right? When you provided the designs before even requesting any type of payday, that's where you add value, especially when your leverage is low and you're not well known. So, but now you have a portfolio, you have multiple clients. So for new people or, potential clients now, you have somewhere to send them. You have a whole background. You built yourself up, and it's pretty fire.
Yeah, like adding value for free, presenting people your work and expecting nothing in return. I believe it's one of the biggest return on investment on yourself, at least in the first phase of your self-employment development. Then things change a little bit because like you need to eat out of that. But I always think that having some kind of fun project on the side or something proposed, like especially when it comes to me and in my field, I like to build to redesign some logos or go through some identities and say, okay, this might need a refresh. let's try do something and propose it to the client without expecting actually to be accepted, or even a reply actually, because like here in Trieste, it happens that a lot of like emails and calls and stuff gets unresolved. So like a lot of the stuff I've been sending out had no reply or a negative reply, but it wasn't, it didn't matter, because like I knew I was putting in the work to develop a process, and also for myself first. Then if something came out of it, it was everything positive, everything was a gain more than I expected. So I believe adding value, especially for free in the first step, is essential to gain, first of all, reputation and getting known by other people.
Got you. So how long have you been doing design work?
Well, I started like for fun in like at the last year in high school. I designed the T-shirt for graduation, and it was like a college of stuff, because like I didn't knew how to use Adobe Illustrator. I didn't knew the principles, so I kind of dropped something from FreePic, customized it a little bit, and that was it. But actually, it came out long way well and better than any other classroom made. So I was pretty proud of myself, and yeah, that was my first thing. So back in 2017, no, sorry, 2016, that was it.
Did you have any like earlier signs of this, like I don't know, drawing, coloring, or I don't know, like stuff like that before high
I
school?
believe I still have something, but I don't know where I have it. I believe I have it in my other laptop, but yeah, I think I have something. I still have the T-shirt. I can send you a picture later. It's gonna be fun.
So, so with doing design work and working with different brands, have you found yourself kind of shifting more into like all around media? Because in today's era, brands might need more than a logo. I know they might need all the marketing materials, but now they're wanting social media press kits and content for their social. And it seems like the industry of advertisement has definitely made a shift since we've gone into the internet era, right? We're not using print ad. We still use print ad, but it's not the dominant source. It's overpriced. We still have television ads, but we all know the bread and butter these days are gonna, pop up in your feed. So have you noticed changes in the industry, or your clients kind of asking for more from you? Anything like that?
Well, it depends on which level you're working on. By that, I mean that if I work with local clients here in Trieste, most of them are still on the paper side, printed side, because like they're still, I believe that we're still very, very early here in Trieste in terms of digitalizing things and businesses. Like in terms of digitalization of the businesses, I think we are at least between 5 and 10%, where 90% of the businesses have little to zero digitalization in terms of social media presence, in terms of running ads on Facebook, in terms of websites. Like there's still much work to do. I believe we're it's like being in the 90s here, pretty much.
Can you take advantage of that by being so ahead and working with Americans and kind of knowing the roadmap that hasn't been applied there, in terms of like it not being oversaturated? No.
Yes and no. I mean, you got to be careful. because like people here used to say like we've always been doing like that. So
Right.
they're a lot afraid of change. They're a lot afraid of change, but they have to actually understand that if they actually don't start taking this thing seriously, their business is gonna disappear in 5-10 years max. Meaning
Dude, I
that
wanna do a brand, like an agency with you. I'm telling you, man. We make so much money. But yeah, I know you're creative in other ways as well, not just graphic design. You want to talk a little bit about that? I know you're into music, producing, DJing. Where does that fall in place in your life?
well, lately I've been dedicating like little time to that because like I've been working on little projects and trying to keep up with the freelancing rhythm and keeping the income pretty much stable. But like producing has always been something I wanted to do. I think it started like 2014, 8 years ago. Still a bedroom producer, but like I believe that you just gotta put in the work. It's something you can learn by yourself, but you gotta train your ears and learn to um, understand the techniques, and then you just develop your own style. You do music that you like. Actually, I personally don't like to follow trends. So like lately in the past 6 months, I believe I produced more techno and trance than like I did the last years. But not because it's a trend, because like techno's booming till 2020, but I've been in techno like for 4 years where it still was underground, not mainstream, and I actually tried different things. Actually, I didn't release pretty much anything. I got a song to Spotify. We'll talk about that later. But when you're into something that you like especially for me, techno and trance, you can just go down there, like make some cool stuff, good music, enjoy it for yourself. Maybe it doesn't have especially to be released in the public or on Spotify, YouTube, whatever. You can just listen to it with your friends if you enjoy it. I believe that's the most important thing about music.
Uh, I would say so, but people need to hear that, John, man. You gotta put it up so people can hear it. You gotta promote it a little bit so we can know about it, you know? But
I'm a
I get you.
perfectionist.
You're a real artist, man. But
Yeah, I'm a perfectionist, man. That's a problem.
yeah, sometimes you just gotta put that shit out though. Like I learned that working with Master Green, who we
Mm.
interviewed last season. Working with him musically, I did my whole album back in 2016, 2017, and we just built it from scratch. And I would just be such a perfectionist over every track. And honestly, if I didn't have other ears in that room that said, it's good, bro, just it's fine, just stop,
Stop.
I would
Exactly.
would never be done. So it's art, it's subjective, it's never perfect. So
Absolutely.
have you found, maybe this will happen in the future? Because I always, when I interview my guests, I can put together your 20-year plan for you if you struggle with your own vision. But have you like used your production skills with your advertisement yet? Like maybe, doing an ad or anything where you had to do the audio for the marketing campaign as well, or not just yet?
No, not just yet. I might think about it, especially with something like cinematic.
I
I've been
think that
trying some.
I mean, it's a brilliant skill to have because if the job calls for it, you generally need to you may have to pay another producer or find some domain free music. But If you can just hop up in Fruity Loops or whatever your DAW is and make your own quick little beat, that's an invaluable skill, bro. And that's how you can keep more of the check to yourself. So, yeah, I'm just no question there. I'm just highlighting how you do have a bunch of skills that can go into just propelling different brands, and it's pretty dope.
Yeah, I believe so.
So, were you born in Italy?
Yeah. I was born in Italy. I believe that like sometimes Italy is overrated, but being underrated at the same time.
It's
And by
definitely
that,
romanticized to us.
yeah, I know by that. I also when I met Shane that came here,
Yeah, we
one
interviewed Shane. He was our very first interview. So,
So yeah, he came here 1 month ago, and he told me that like Italy is like the best place in the world for Americans, and like I still believe that it's one of the most beautiful countries in the world, but sometimes we as like Italian people might ruin it because of our character, because of our I don't know, like the way it is managed, the way it is organized, makes it have like a lot of um, downfalls and feeling behind more countries. Like when you, I don't know how to say that, but like Italy is way behind a lot of other countries in terms of, I believe, personal development. I believe, digitalization. But
do you think personal development really, or more so just like technology and the like you're saying, digitization? Because I mean, you guys seem pretty well balanced, live a full life. Um, it, but you're not like obsessed with the things that the people in the States are obsessed with, on like that same mission. I don't know.
I get to recognize that like I've heard about the policies in terms of holidays and 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. And on that thing, I believe we're I don't say we're superior, but like we have a step ahead in terms of that because like we're not overly obsessed by work.
Right.
But at the same
Right.
time,
Yeah, that's what I'm. Oh, go ahead.
I mean, in the public administration, we are still losing a lot of money that nobody knows where it's going, and I believe it's gone missing because like people lack some sort of discipline.
I would probably say someone knows where that money is going. It's going to somebody. Y'all just and that goes and just when you compare to the States, bro, I live here. That shit goes on every level. Government missing money, California, our budgets, the money come up missing for the police budget. Yeah,
Crazy.
it's commerce, it's man, but you mentioned something interesting because I think that's a good example, like vacation for
Mhm.
in Italy, you guys take a extended vacation. So the question was personal development. That was you said that the personal development was a bit behind in Italy, but I was arguing maybe it's just different. So um it's important to get vacation, to rest, to let your brain do its thing, to have a full quality of life, let your get out in nature, all that good stuff. That's important. But on the other end, you could be busting your ass working to grow your business, grow your brand, build wealth, etc. And I don't know if that's necessarily personal development, but yeah, I'm just posing all this. I don't have an answer. It's just it seems like a lot of a give and take and just differences.
Yeah,
So
I believe that like we as Italian people, like we are way less developed in terms of like um, personal matters, in terms of acceptance of ourselves. I think we sometimes we lack some kind of spine, you know, when it comes to our own country, actually, to taking care about our own country, our own people, and I think that's something I would love to see evolving and improving in my country, like people taking care and saying, okay, we need to change this because it's gonna improve the quality of our life in terms of stress, in terms of well-being, in terms of I don't know, like flexibility, in terms of open-minded. You know, I believe that we still have a lot to do in that horizons in that area.
well, you guys are probably way past us. If you see our how wealthy our country is, but how high the homeless population is. You go to somewhere like Los Angeles, you have someone living in a $5 million condo, but then you go downstairs, there's a tent full of homeless people shooting opiates, and they're
Mhm.
dirty. And you walk past them, and you go get your $20 latte and muffin, and um, it's. I'm not trying to harp on America, but I was just kind of illustrating, like, man, we go through the same stuff, and I don't know, just interesting to compare countries because also we can see the similarities, the differences, but also
Yeah.
kind of derive what's just human behavior, regardless of the country, the environment you put them in. You know, humans kind of react in a certain way, whether it's just that self-preservation nature, that, you know, wanting to put yourself above others so you have a prestige, or yeah, whatever. But kind of just taking a step back, more focus on you and not public policy. Can you go ahead and just describe your creative process? How you kind of start, go through it, how the idea sparks, etc.
Well, actually, like it depends on what I have to do, but mainly I always start with trying to understand uh, what is the goal for the project. And I believe that analyzing that part and doing research in that term is the most important thing, because it's the basis for a big project, you know, and without like having a good solid base, you're not going anywhere, and you can't build anything big.
But how
So
about, like, do you like start with a sketch? Do you like jump in an Illustrator and draw lines, or does it just have
like
this vision in your head?
you know, even before sketches, it's about understanding the direction of the project. So before even sketching, I go through like Pinterest, Google search, and find and build up some kind of a mood board to understand what can inspire me to do a creative work, and then I start sketching. Pencil and paper for 1, 2, 3 hours. It depends on how many ideas I have, how many interesting things come up. And then, yeah, then I digitalize with Illustrator, and you know, from there, it's pretty much a downhill.
Where do you see yourself in 5, 10 years from now?
To be honest, I actually don't know. And by that, I mean, like, things are changing so fast that I can't predict, especially. But I see myself having I see myself having a studio. I'd say especially a design studio. And I would love to balance that with a little bit of trading, taking bigger clients with bigger budgets, less clients eventually, and experimenting a lot. Because I believe that experimenting is the fuel for creativity and better work.
Is there anyone you would love to collaborate with or work with on their brand, or any brand you would love to work with?
That's a good question. I actually like, I don't think I have a specific brand I would love to work on.
Not Adidas, Nike, or anything like that. I've seen you do mock-up stuff for different Fortune 500 companies. So I don't know. None that you could see that might have a logo that irks you or a campaign that's just ass, but you know you could help them.
Like I don't know, like I'm not fantasizing about big clients right now, but
What about someone smaller, like that you know in the trading world or locally?
I'd love to work with
Elvin?
some champagne producers. And
Okay.
I believe that the wine industry still lacks a lot of that in terms of branding, in terms of design, in terms of presence. So yeah, I'd love to work in that industry, especially here in Italy. I still believe that we have good wine, pretty good wine, and it's still under promoted, under known, even though a lot of people like, I believe you might know like Chianti or some cool wine names, and that gets exported worldwide. I believe that Italy still has a lot more to offer in
I
terms
bet
of
you could go
wine.
rich. I bet you can get stinking, filthy, smelly rich by just helping Italian companies get branded for the US, like in, kind of getting them imported over, but just from like a branding standpoint, helping them translate everything, kind of
Mhm.
meet the formatting that, the North America likes and stuff. And then, companies that are ready, you could really get rich there, bro.
That's an idea.
And it's also like a need because you're bilingual. You know the practices of marketing in the U.S., but you also know your country and your guys' format and conventions as well.
Hmm.
Um, I see a need. I see a skill. I see something that you have that other people don't. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I
Um,
appreciate that. Really.
did you basically teach yourself everything graphic wise, or did you like go to school for it? I know you have some certs, or did you just like YouTube it up? What's up?
I started with YouTube and playing by myself. And then I felt the need to do some courses. I had a course about like advertising, and then a course about logo design, and like all the visual identity things. I'm still in the process of building brand strategy services, but I believe that I'll be fully working with that when 2023 starts, because like it's a little bit taking momentum, building momentum there, and it's really useful. Like brand strategies where creativity actually meets business needs, and you're not designing just for the sake of it, but you're doing it with a purpose, and you're giving instructions to the business on how to communicate with their target and how to get engaged with their fans and how to speak to them, which tone of voice to use. And I believe this is going to be a very, very good road to a very good path to go through.
Yeah, it's essentially mending the marketing and the commerce side of things with the creativity, because basically what you're doing is helping brands sell their products, but you have to present it in a nice way. And it's just an interesting dynamic because they're kind of polar opposites at times, right? When we want to be focused on creativity and self-expression and being open-minded, we want to stay away from things that will box us in, things that will conform us. And in the business world and capitalism, it's all about meeting that format, whether it's just the median itself, the Instagram feed that needs to be certain dimensions in a certain amount of seconds, whether there are certain colors that spark certain things in the brain to maybe make people make impulse purchases, things like that. So there's a lot of components going on. And I do think that marketing, it is witchcraft in a way, but it's also just, it takes a lot of ability because you have to see things from different views, from the consumer view, a world view, the client view, a personal view. And you really do have to put it all together. And it can be super conflicting because the creative side can pull away from the commerce side. So I think it really is a skill. And that's literally your job. And I think that's awesome. But I think that there's just so much openness for one to be creative with their business, right? With how you strategize, with how you pick your rollout. Maybe you do something that's unconventional. Maybe you say, you know what, screw an Instagram campaign. We're gonna shut down Times Square and we're gonna give out free beanies, and then we're gonna do some giveaway or something that's never been done. We're gonna have Bruno Mars come out or whatever it may be. And this is where the fun can take place, but also you're taking chances and spending money and all that. But I didn't really have a question, but I did want to, I guess my question was like, how do you strategize on these things? How do you mend creativity and capitalism?
Well, it's all about meeting the audience. And by that, I mean the being relatable to your customers and fans and audience. Like, this is actually the goal. You gotta impress them, but you also gotta be relatable to them, and they gotta be feeling like you are speaking for them. And I believe when you get to that moment, you're actually winning. Because if they feel like you and them are, you're both like almost the same person, they're gonna pretty much buy anything from you. Because they know you have the solution for them. And if you impersonate them, they're gonna have results with your solution, no matter what. So I believe, this is the magic that has to happen. And sometimes it happens, like Apple iPhone 14, but
Right. So it's just designing it with humans in mind. But when you look at things from a corporate business standpoint, you need to allow the consumer to see themselves in the advertisement or the product and feel that they can identify with that product. And then you got them. So to first do that, you have to see things from their view, understand their perception of the world, and how they engage with things in the world and different products. And then you have to understand the format of business, of, you know, the different platforms, right? Like we're talking about TV, print, social, and so that is basically everything I was saying, and you just broke it down. That's pretty cool.
Yes, man.
So where did you get the creative bug from? Was it like your mom or your dad or grandma, anything like that?
I don't know. I mean, I believe like my father played piano like when he was younger.
Oh, dude,
My
there you go. There you go. You play music.
my
Okay.
mother as well. So and I listened to a lot of classical music back in the days. I still do listen that as well. Sometimes to focus, or sometimes to just chill and relax. And yeah, I believe that actually helped me. There's some science behind it, like that if you listen to classical music, your brain is gonna expand more. But
But
I
just having
still,
parents who have those skills, they pass it along to you.
yeah, yeah, I believe that happens as well.
Did you
So
have a piano in your house when you were a kid?
no, I actually didn't use like instruments before having a guitar. But yeah, I started with that, and then I passed on to a controller, and I still have my guitar here. I play it sometimes.
Nice.
It's really cool.
Well, yeah, we can kind of wrap up the interview, bro. I just wanted to sit down and talk with you for a bit. I don't want to take up your whole day, but you
No
owed me
worries.
this, and I was gonna get my interview for this season. So, um, is there anything you want to talk about, bring attention to, any issues, causes, upcoming releases, anything you want to share with the Winlife podcast audience?
Well, nothing special. What I'd love to state is that you gotta trust the process. And I know it's like it may sound something that it's overstated, but I believe that if you break down the things, it's like trust, and I believe trust is something that we innately have inside ourselves, and we need to cultivate it. And then you have the process, and the process is actually how life is turning up every day, every hour, every minute, and it can actually change in a second. Everything can change in a second, and in positive, and both also in negative. And by that I mean that whatever your ups and downs of your life will be, if you keep doing what you're doing for an indefinite amount of period, this is what actually Alex Hormozi said, it's just a matter of time. That is what trust the process means to me. So if you keep doing what you're doing, and you're progressing, it's just a matter of time that you find yourself in a place where you think you belong, where you feel fully successful, satisfied, realized as a person, as a business owner, as whatever you would love to be. So yeah, that's it for me. Like, trust the process.
Yeah, that can be a difficult one for humans, but I think a lot of times when we see we don't believe it till we see it. So we need some type of results. And we talk about that, just, breaking down things into small steps and having small growth. So yeah, that's my tip for helping you trust the process, is to break your goals into bite-sized parts and just take it one bite at a time, and then look up and you ate a 10-pound steak. I know I'm lame. I know I'm corny, but hey, that's me. All right, I got one more question before we get up out of here. It's something we like to ask all of our guests. I hope you know this question, and that looks as what's he gonna ask me? And that question is, Mattia, what does winning at life mean to you?
It's a good question. I believe that winning at life is doing what you want to do, doing what you love to do. Even though sometimes it might be difficult, but accepting that difficult part and keep on doing that because you actually enjoy it and doing it for the rest of your life. And this might be work, this might be your job, this might be your hobby, your passion, something that you don't necessarily capitalize on. But I believe doing what you want to do, even if it's for 30 minutes, 1 hour a day, I believe that makes a big change in your life. In terms of mood, in terms of motivation, it really is something that can help you balancing especially the moments of down in your life. Because you're like, okay, at least I have this thing that I'm doing that is helping me feeling alive, feeling myself. I believe in that.
Awesome. Appreciate you. That's a great answer. I always like to hear everyone's answer to that question because I think it highlights what's important to us, what's success to us, and it can just kind of show what type of person you are. And a lot of us, it really just comes down to, especially us creators, a lot of us men, it's just getting those ideas out of our head and making it a real tangible thing and allowing others to experience it and helping society, developing society through our creation. So yeah, we just here to impact the world, make change, and chill with some cool people, eat some good food along the way, winning that life.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, enjoy it.
And that's a wrap. We got the Mattia interview in the books. Thank you, little bro. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you too. Thank you for the opportunity of being here.
Yes, sir. And we'll see you guys next week. Peace.